Resident Evil Afterlife is... I don't really know what to say about it, because, like, it's okay, it was directed by one of my least favorite directors already. Already you can sense some bad news from this, because Paul W.S. Anderson, he has a really, really infamous reputation, because the man made one decent movie, Mortal Kombat, and then after that, it kind of just went downhill. Like, Resident Evil was not too bad, but it was bad. AVP, Alien vs. Predator, was fucking awful. And I think he directed Resident Evil Apocalypse, and I don't really remember. And there's another movie by Paul W.S. Anderson I'm forgetting, but I don't know, I have to look that up. But the man, just like, I don't know if he understands that we're criticizing him, like he's suffering from Uwe Boll sickness or Tommy Wiseau sickness, because the man, or Michael Bay sickness, because the man is just like, what he thinks like he thinks he knows what he's doing, but what he's actually doing is, when he takes these franchises, he sort of redoes it to the point where it pisses off the fanboys or fan people, and it shouldn't be that way, because like, it's not that hard to adapt these things. Like Resident Evil, what was the plot? Let's see. First team went in, they crash. Second team goes in to rescue the first team. They get an ambush. They run into a mansion to hide, and then they explore the mansion. That's about it. I don't know why that was so hard to put on film, but I heard Capcom, when they saw the script written by George A. Romero, George A. Romero was originally going to make this. When they read his script, they felt it was like too close to the games or something, and they fired him. And I read the original script, it's not that bad. And they hired Paul W.S. Anderson to make the first movies, the script, or the whole first movie, and it was so different. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, it didn't make me as mad as Silent Hill, where Silent Hill changed only little bits of detail that did not need to be changed. In this movie, they changed so much stuff. Like, they kind of kept the mansion, but instead it's not a stars team, it's an umbrella team, and then it's like, the main character's not Chris or Jill, it's Alice. And by the way, Alice is one of my least favorite characters in anything I have ever watched in my entire life. Maybe not much as Bella, but Alice, I hate her because she's a Mary Sue. She's the very definition of character that is only there to be awesome. Like, I know that doesn't really sound negative, but she has like almost zero negative qualities. Like, nothing can really touch her, and I mean, there's like almost no personality to her. Like, okay, maybe she's not a Mary Sue, but she's Byronic. Like, she has like one negative quality is that she can't really remember her past life, and at the end of the movie she figures it out. So in the sequel, like, all you're watching is her just like powering through these guys. You could say the T-virus is another negative quality, but that's the thing that's giving her positive qualities. So that kind of just unbalances it. And wow, I didn't know they could make it up to 4, because I skipped 3. I didn't watch 3. I heard about what happens in 3, and I'm glad I skipped it, because I heard so much negative stuff come out of Extinction, and the fact that they still thought that people wanted to see this movie is kind of amazing. And I finally watched it, and can't believe I'm saying this, but it wasn't that bad, actually. Compared to 2 and a little bit of 1, it's actually pretty okay. It's the best of the 4. Like, I haven't seen 3, but I'm pretty sure I like 4 more than 3. But I liked 4 better than the last 3, which is kind of weird because it's directed still by Paul W.S. Anderson. And my theory here is that he looked at the past 3 movies and he thought, wow, what the fuck was I thinking when I made those movies? Like, I messed up the trilogy so bad that I'm gonna try to bring it back to the original, to the video game series. And yeah, it is the most like the video games. Like, they have the Axeman from Resident Evil 5. They got the thing where the zombies, like, the mouths like open and then like, which is Las Plagas, which is post classic Resident Evil. And they got Albert Wesker there and his superhumanness. Chris and Claire there, like Chris for the first time in the games. Like, it took him 4 movies to include Chris Redfield. Like, 4 movies, and it took 3 to bring Claire in. Like, what is so taboo about making the main characters of the games the main characters of the movies? I mean, they're not even the main characters of the movie. They're sub-characters compared to Alice. That's why I hate her. That's another reason why I hate her. She's the main character of the movies. Maybe if she was in the games, I wouldn't hate her as much, but whatever. So yeah, the movie is actually the best of the 4, and it's the least complicated of the 4. It kind of follows more of a traditional zombie storyline where, okay, the movie is about Alice. Like, at the end of Resident Evil Extinction, I heard that, like, this is what, from my research, that Alice is on the hunt to eliminate Umbrella. So she and I guess the Alice clones, because like the Alice clones attack the Umbrella facility in Japan, and they attack it, and they try to kill Albert Wesker, who takes away her superhuman power. So already this is kind of a good thing, because now she has to fight these zombies with normal human strength. And you know, she was okay. She was already good with normal human strength, but she's more human, so that's already a good thing. That's a good thing, Paul W.S. Anderson. That was a good move. And so she's weakened and decides to, like, wow, I'm weakened, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go find safety. So she encounters Claire Redfield, who from the second movie was headed to the third movie. I'm pretty sure she was headed to the Arcadia, which was like a safe zone, but apparently, but then when she finds her, there's something wrong with her, and she finds out that she's under Umbrella's control. So it's kind of like Resident Evil 5, where you're trying to free Jill from Umbrella's control. So that kind of brings up some questions about what's wrong with the Arcadia, what's going on here. So they fly off and they're trying to find the Arcadia, and they can't really keep going, so they land on a roof with a bunch of other survivors. There's like an Asian guy, the guy he works for, a basketball player, a girl who says she was a good swimmer, I think. I don't really remember. And then this one guy who, I think his name is Angel, or I read his name was Angel, I don't know. He gets shot by the businessman in the head, like, for no reason. Like, in the movie, he's like, I have to fix this, it'll take me a week to fix this thing. And then the guy just shoots him in the head. Okay. So they land on the roof of this building. I think it was a prison. Yeah, it was a prison, because they also find Chris Redfield here, which is a huge coincidence. Like, Claire Redfield and Alice, like, land on the roof where Chris Redfield is. Like, they just so happen to find Chris Redfield in this cell. It kind of amazes me that this happens. And so they're trying to figure out how to get to the Arcadia, and then the most of the movie is them trying to get to the Arcadia, trying to find a way to the Arcadia. And I think they do it by going through the sewers. Like, I don't really remember why I can't really remember this movie that well right now, but A lot of the survivors die, you know, and so Chris and Claire and Alice, they manage to find a way to the Arcadia, which turns out to be a cargo ship. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to give too much away. But the movie's not bad. Well, it is bad, but it's not worse than the other three. It could have been a lot more worse, honestly, like compared to other video game adaptations, and compared to what other things Paul W.S. Anderson has done. I mean, he is the best at making video game movies. He made Mortal Kombat, which wasn't that bad. So I guess he knows what he's doing. So yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was actually a little entertaining. It had the effects of being a Paul W.S. Anderson movie though. It's a little pretentious. Like the slow-mo shots, they were a little too much, but in the end, it wasn't that bad. It's kind of amazing. Like I would have. There's a lot. I have a lot of complaints. Like it could have been a little less pretentious. It could have been a little more story oriented. It could have been more like focused on Chris and Claire. It could have been more focused on like they could have just dropped the entire storyline of like of Alice. Well, no, they couldn't. But then like they could try to like avoid keep going in that direction, and they kind of did. Because when they made her human, she her past really didn't matter anymore at that point. So I don't know. It feels like it's a good. It's going in a good direction, I guess. You know, for the game, for the movies. I don't know. Resident Evil Afterlife wasn't that bad. And it's weird kind of praise for me, but yeah, it wasn't that bad.